Welcome back to the O Hockey Show, and today I've decided why not come out of my hibernation and make a video finally as the NHL season starts tomorrow, which is so exciting because it's finally here. I'm dying for hockey to come back, so it's finally upon us. We're on the eve of the season. So exciting, and I decided why not start with, I've got a bunch of topics lined up that I really want to start talking about again, and I decided why not start here with season predictions for each division. I don't have time to go over every single team, but I will do a prediction for each one. And so today, as you read the thumbnail and title already, we're going to do the Atlantic Division. So let's just jump right on into it, starting at the bottom, and then we'll work our way up. My prediction for 8th in the Atlantic Division this season, I think this is not going to be too much of a hot take, but it is crazy to think, because even like a year ago, I would have thought I was a maniac for saying this, but we're in this reality. Number 8, the Boston Bruins. They have so much going for them. They have David Pastrnak, so they got one great forward. They have Charlie McAvoy, one great defenseman, and Jeremy Swayman. They have a potential top 10 in every position player. And that is a great starting point. But clearly, as age has withered away and they've traded away guys with Bergeron retiring, Marchand being traded away, this team needs a rebuild and a reset. And right now, I think they're in a perfect position for it. And I know it's crazy to think the Boston Bruins, a team with such a legacy and just absolute success and domination of the league for years. For as long as I've watched hockey, they've been a top team in the NHL. But to me, I don't have any trust in offense. If you're signing Tanner Jeannot to a sizable deal and he's going to actually be a player in your top 9, is scary. Casey Middlestat, he is a failed NHLer at least a top 6 position. So I have no faith in that. There's a lot that I don't like about the Boston Bruins offense, and just top-end talent, Pavel Zacha being a top playing center is not very good. Obviously, Pastrnak is a top 5 winger in the entire world, and he is phenomenal, but he can't do it alone. So to me, the defense, I will say, I know a lot of people have a lot of praise for their defense, and I think there is warrant there. But I think this is a great time for them to try to trade away a Zadorov and get a good sizable first round pick or something from him, right? Get the 13th overall, get the 21st overall pick for Nikita Zadorov, right? And build up that draft pool and that draft capital and build towards the future. I think this is a team that can have a quick turnaround in the rebuilding process, but they've got to do it. So for me, at 8, the bottom of the basement is the right spot for the Bruins right now, so they can retool and in 2 years be back on track to winning Stanley Cups, or be close to it. Number 7, I'm going with a team that I have absolutely zero faith in whatsoever, and that is the Detroit Red Wings. I just hate them. I don't hate them. They used to be my favorite team. That was the first team I ever played for. I just cannot take the Red Wings seriously, though. The Yzer plan, I don't care. The defenders, whatever. I have zero trust in Steve Yzerman. I think he's been a horrible general manager. I think every move he's done has been a setback for the team. Of course, you could pinpoint one or something like Alex DeBrincat or whatever. Sure, whatever. Maybe one or so. But overall, I have zero faith in the Detroit Red Wings. They're a team full of mid players. They are a team full of and when I say mid players, I just literally mean the guys that you fill in a third or fourth line spot on a good team. But that is what the whole team is made out of. It is just a lot of nothing above a 5 out of 10 kind of player. And even their best player with Dylan Larkin or a Raymond. Sure, I love Lucas Raymond. He's a superstar. Larkin, I love his attitude. He's a great captain, great player, great attitude. But these guys, at most in the NHL, they are at best an 8 out of 10. And having one 8 out of 10, one 7 out of 10, Sider's amazing, but he doesn't have the right kind of team around him to project him to that 9 out of 10 defenseman. There's just so many things that are wrong with this team. I like John Gibson added to this team. I really think he needed a new platform, but he went from a team that gets 1,000 shots put on a night and can't keep up with it all over years and years and years of doing that, and he's now on a team that lets in 1,000 shots against, and he's going to do that every single night he's playing. So I don't think it's a nice change of scenery because he changed to a team with a different font. So to me, Red Wings, not a fan. 7th. 6th, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Sabres. This is like the opposite, where I have so much hope for the Buffalo Sabres, but I can't believe in them. I really like just the offense of this team. They were second in scoring in the Atlantic Division last year, but they were number 1 in goals against. And now their goaltending tandem is Alex Lyon, who is a decent backup, and Alexander Georgiev. And, of course, Ukko Pekka-Lukin. He's had injury problems, and he also looked very, 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 very sketchy at the end of the season last year, especially after Four Nations, or at least even just around then. He had a good, sizable start of the season to get him excited for the Four Nations face-off, but then it started, and it was So, UPL, no. Devin Levi is not NHL material yet. It's not Penske material. Devin Levi not going to make a difference there in net either. So defense or goaltending, no. Defense is the same defense as last year, and it's the same defense and the same team that let in the most goals against. So I have no faith in that changing. I think it can get better. That's why I'm considering them. They are the team that I was pushing in my head to put into a playoff spot, but I can't. I just can't convince myself of it, even though Tage Thompson is one of my favorite players in the entire league. Not even, he's in that top 5 strata. I love Tage Thompson's game, and I'm so mad he didn't make the Four Nation face-off team. He's going to make Team USA, and he's going to be an absolute stud on it. He's such a hell of a good player. But there's just so much good goal scoring and good depth on offense, but there's just no defense and goaltending to back it all up, and it's the same team that has the same problems as last year. They might be better, they might have cooled those problems down, but it's not going to change anything for them to get in the playoffs. Now we get to where the wild cards might be, and this is where I'm not convinced that they are actually in the playoffs, but at number 5, I think a lot, depending on the person that clicks on this video, is going to hate this pick, but at number 5, I'm putting the Montreal Canadiens. The Atlantic Division is simply the greatest division in hockey, or maybe the Central, but it's the most tight, compact one. Because I could see an argument for Boston or Detroit or Buffalo or Montreal, and then guys above that, obviously, making the playoffs. Where you go to a team like the Central Division, it's okay, yeah, clearly towards the bottom, this team's not making it or whatever. Atlantic Division, though, it can be anyone's game in anyone's season. And for me, Montreal is a team that definitely could run with the ball and make it to even a third place spot. But for me, looking at their team right now, Lane Hudson had such a fire beginning year, but now he's going to be fighting for that offensive time with Noah Dobson, or maybe he will be on the same line with him. I feel like that'd be an interesting decision that I don't think they're going to make. But I don't know. Also, Hudson to get back to that level of points again would be crazy. If he does, then he's a new Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes in the league, right? And I think he is very good, but I feel like he's going to have that sophomore slump, reset to maybe a 52-point season or something, which is still great. I think he's going to have a fantastic career, but I just don't have much faith in him. And his defensive game as well is not up to par. Offensively, I'm not the biggest fan of the Canadiens' offense. I feel like there's a lot to not care too much about. Center depth is definitely a concern for me. I know there's they could trade for this guy, but then there's also, they're going to trade away Line A. So they're still in that that mixed zone where it's not they are a good team to go forward and build with. They're a team that is still let's shed parts and keep moving forward. And to me, also Montembeault and net, not the biggest fan of his. I think he's a good goalie, but he's not going to he had a great beginning of the season and then really tailed off. I don't think he's going to be able to reproduce those numbers again, that performance. So to me, Montreal is going to be a little bit of the same, where I think some things will even out, some things will lower down, and it'll all even out to them being a 5th place team. And the runner-up behind the Florida Panthers at number 4. And I know that might be crazy, but this is a team that has won the 3 Stanley Cup finals in a row. They've won the last 2 Stanley Cups in a row. They're a team that has zero interest in caring probably at all about the regular season, especially with Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk out, they're going to be working way harder than they like. A lot of the guys are going to be stepping up and playing way harder than they're used to, which might burn them out. They might start off really hot with guys like Bennett and Lundell getting jumps up in the lineup, or Bennett stay wherever, right? And more like guys being able to have a spot like Luo Sterainen or maybe like a Samoskevich or whatever, being able to take a higher up role and starting on fire with it. And they might start hot, but I feel like guys like Bennett and Marchand, who are probably not the biggest regular season performers at this point in their careers, well, really Marchand. Bennett has never really been a big regular season performer. I feel like they'll struggle and they'll drop points and drop wins that they didn't have before. Sergei Bobrovsky's got to falter at some point. Defensively, the team is. I mean, but the Florida Panthers are still they are my Stanley Cup favorite. As long as Barkov can come back at a decent enough time to get in some regular season action, and he can return by the playoffs to at least 70% of his capability, and Matthew Tkachuk we know can play through injury and still be effective, then I still think they're my cup favorite. But for regular season, they just need to do enough to get in. They don't care. They're not trying to win the President's Trophy. They don't care about that. They just need to get into the playoffs, which you're going to do. So to me, Florida's at number 4. Number 3, I'm going with the Ottawa Senators. To me, they were good last year. And this is, to me, the Ottawa Senators at number 3 is the pick I'm least confident in. To me, I'm really, really, really in my head going Montreal or Buffalo and Ottawa going down. Because to me, I think Ottawa had a really good season last year, but for them. I feel like everything went as good as it could. And I know that might be crazy. And I like the Ottawa Senators, but to me, their offensive depth with a lot of guys like Giroux on the team still is like scary. Like, I don't have a lot of passion for them. I like a lot of, I mean, they have so many like killer players with Stützle and Tkachuk and Drake Batherson and Pinto and now Dylan Cousins. Like, they have a lot of good guys on this team. But to me, the defense is like at best. Like, not I shouldn't say that. But it's not a top 15 defense in the league, or 16, I guess would be half. And goaltending, Linus Ullmark, I'm very shaky on. He had his great season with Boston, and then he's been neutral-ish. He's been good, but I don't know. I'm not solely convinced of him being a great goalie, and they've got the young guy behind him in Mieramalainen. So, like, I don't know, like, goaltending is not the strongest, but it's not weak by any means, and I think they're good enough to be third, but to me, it's just, like, a lot of things could go wrong for them, and if an injury to a guy like Stützle or a Tkachuk happens, that really weakens this team, so, like, a bump to them like that, but Jake Sanderson back there as well, like, I don't know, there is a lot to like, and that's why I have it at number 3. This is a team that I think is very strong, and I really want to see them get back in the playoffs and be a dominant team, because I think Ottawa's probably my favorite Canadian team, is if they went back to those old O's with the stripes jersey. They would definitely be like a top 3. I mean, I would have to buy one of those jerseys immediately. I love guys like Jake Sanderson on this team and Stützle and Tkachuk. Like, I love a lot of things on Ottawa, but there's a lot of concerns for me that I feel like other teams have fully won me over with, and this team, I'm not convinced it's going to all happen again. But obviously, I'm convinced enough to put them at number 3. So, number 2, I have Toronto. This team is still great without Mitch Marner. I mean, I think Austin Matthews might explode without a Mitch Marner on this team. Not explode. Obviously, he's still an absolutely fantastic player. That's not the word I should have used. He doesn't need Mitch Marner to be great. I just think that they will drop off a little bit in points. Well, not that much. I mean, they had 102 last year. So, like, maybe, like, not a 98. I feel like that's too low for them. I mean, I think they'll finish 100 and above. I don't know where, but I think they're above 100 points. I just think, the defense on this team is this type of defense you like to see. It is very strong, strict defense with a very strict coach with a great system in place that keeps them hard fighting every game in and out. They've got goal scorers, they've got guys that play defense, and they've got great goaltenders in net. They are the perfect regular season team, and that's what concerns me about the playoffs, because they are built for the regular season, but it doesn't feel like they're a playoff team. But for me, they're a great spot for number 2, and that's because I think at number 1 is gonna be the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think this is a team that I know a lot of people have the concerns of Vasilevsky's injury history and them being shaky and wobbly, but to me, this feels like the last run for Tampa Bay. It feels like this is the end of like where Boston. I feel like this is the end of Tampa Bay's dominance, like where Boston fell off. Well, I guess not last year, but like when they started to not be able to win playoff series against except against the Maple Leafs anymore. To me, Tampa Bay, I have no concerns about the injuries. I think Vasilevsky is back in his form. Nikita Kucherov is somehow the quietestly talked about NHL All-Star in the world. I love Jake Gensel. Braden Point's elite. They're just, those guys are all guys that play both sides of the ice except Kucherov. But obviously, but guys like Brandon Hagel being a super good penalty killer, both ends of the ice, but can get 90 points for you. And then obviously the defense is very solid. The type of defense that like Toronto has, where you have the Victor Hedmans that are elite shutdown guys that can get points on the board. Chernaks and Mosers and McDonough's. Like, you have just a lot of smart, defensively minded defensemen back there that might not get all the points in the world, but they shut your team down, and Vasilevsky is going to clean everything up, and they've got a lot of killers up front to make you get punished for what's going on to you up front, and they will make you pay for your mistakes, pay on the power play, and they can shut you down on defense. So to me, Tampa Bay has won my heart for the Atlantic Division, and that is my final list. That is my 8 out of 10 for the Atlantic Division. That is my prediction for this year. So thank you for watching this. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. And until next time, too sweet, have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.